Well, good day there, everybody. This is Joe Van Cleve. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Typewriter video series. Today is going to be a tutorial. I'm going to talk about how to typecast typewriter blog on the road using iOS devices as your camera and your blog editing tool platform. Stay tuned. Sometime back in 2015, my wife and I went on a 3-week car trip around the western United States, and I took a typewriter with me. It might have been the Hermes Rocket, I believe. And I took a digital camera. I think it was one of my Lumix G Micro Four Thirds cameras. And at the time, I didn't have my iPhone. I had another phone, and I was using my little iPod Touch as a kind of a blogging platform. And the problem with the iPod itself was trying to take pictures of my typewritten articles every day for my blog. The camera on these iPod Touches is the lowest resolution camera of any Apple device, and it just was not adequate for getting the sharp details of each letter. Just the pixel resolution of the camera is too low. And so I was photographing my blog articles with my bigger camera, and then I was transferring those photos to my iOS device with the camera connection cable and the little USB adapter cable from the Panasonic camera, and editing the typecast, the image of the typewritten piece, and then I host my photographs online on Flickr. So I would have to upload the photographs to Flickr, and then I would have to grab the link to the photograph, copy that link, and then write a blog article. I was actually using the Notes feature, the Notes app in my iOS device, to write my actual blog article. The blog article includes HTML markup language for formatting and like line breaks and stuff like that. All that code was written in there, and then I would copy the whole thing and then paste it into my Blogger template. So I use Blogger as my hosting platform for my blog. So that was kind of the general workflow. Get a good photograph of your typewritten piece, upload to Flickr, grab the link, and then put that in your Notes app, write up your whole article, and copy and paste it into Blogger. And oftentimes there was more than one photo. It wasn't just the photo of the typewritten piece, but of course I had photographs from the day, whatever I was doing that day. But I found the real limitation in this whole process tended to be the camera technology. Even with a good high-resolution camera, I think this one was a 16-megapixel camera, but there is some limitations around the lens. One of the problems I found when you're photographing a typewritten piece like this, oftentimes you'll get curvature of field, and you'll have the edges of the typewritten piece are kind of curved, and the lines out toward the extremities, the top and bottom of the article, the lines end up starting to get curved because of the field curvature of the lens. The other challenge, of course, is getting adequate lighting to illuminate your piece, and usually it would be sometime in the evening when we would get home from that day's activities into our hotel room. I would be typing up the article, and then I would have to find some adequate light to photograph the article in the little dingy hotel room. Typically, it was the bathroom vanity sink with a mirror and the lights. That was the best place to illuminate it, but it was a real challenge getting good quality pictures of my typewritten pieces for my blog. Then recently I discovered that the camera on my iPhone and on my iPod Touch, the iPod Touch operating system, the iOS, had recently been updated by Apple, and the camera now features a panorama mode. And I tried the panorama mode. What you're supposed to do with it, or what's the original intention, is you hold the phone up like this in portrait mode, and you scan it in like this. You scan a scene, and it creates one large, super high resolution panorama. But I discovered a couple weeks ago that you can use the panorama mode to scan a two-dimensional object like a document, a typewritten sheet, and it revolutionizes the ability to take a high-res picture, even with this really low-res camera in the iPod Touch, I can get a sharp enough picture of my typewritten piece where I can clearly distinguish every individual letter, even down to seeing the texture of the ribbon fabric itself in the letter. That's how good it is. So I'm going to go through that whole procedure with you today and a little bit about how you would write a blog article using Flickr and Blogger and iOS. Let's go in and I'll show you how to scan this using the panorama mode. What you want to do with the panorama mode is you're going to actually hold the phone in portrait orientation crosswise to the length of the paper, and you want to maintain a constant height above the paper, and you want to keep it in a straight line along the middle, the axis of the paper, and move it at a slow, constant speed across the paper. So let's do that now. Okay, so we're going to go to the camera app, and down here you'll see the square format, and then there's the panorama format. So we're going to hold the phone up above the typewritten piece so it's nice and square, and I usually try to start it so about halfway on the picture here, and I'm going to have to move this at very precise, even speed across the picture here. Ready? I'm going to hit the white shutter button, and we'll start recording here. And the idea is to be as straight as possible, consistently the same on the speed and everything. And the slower you move the camera, the more resolution the picture is going to have. Okay, stop recording. Let's take a look and see how we did. On the little picture on the lower left, not too bad. Okay, so let's do some editing of this picture. Let's go to our Photos app, our camera roll. Here is our raw picture. And let's go ahead and hit the Edit button, which is the upper right corner. Okay, so there is, next to the blue cancel in the lower left corner, is the cropping symbol. We're going to hit that. And I'm going to crop the top margin down to right above the title. I'm going to crop the bottom margin up just below my signature, and the right margin will crop in, and the left margin will crop in, something like that. Then, on the row of symbols on the bottom, the second from the right looks like a clock dial with dots. That's going to be for editing the picture itself. I'm going to take the Light tab, and in the Light tab I'm going to select Contrast. I'm going to slide the contrast to the right. Then I'm going to select those three lines and go back and select maybe exposure. Let's see if I need to increase the exposure a little. And then hit those three lines again and select brilliance and see if some brilliance might help a little bit. Okay, and we'll say that's done. I'll hit the Done button and it will save our changes. And now, if I zoom in, look at the resolution of this. I can see each individual, look at the G there, I can see the texture of the fabric ribbon itself in these letters. Look how high resolution that is. Isn't that cool? And all the way up at the top of the picture, of course, and all the way to the bottom of the picture of the scan, we have really good resolution, much better than a single photograph would have done. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this picture to my Flickr photo stream. And so the lower left corner is this upload box, the square with an arrow. Then I'm going to select my Mail app. And then under the address to, I'm going to hit the plus with a circle, and I'm going to select my Flickr photo stream. The subject matter of the email is going to be the title of the photo in Flickr, Walking the Tightrope. Oops, got to be able to spell tightrope. Walking the Tightrope. Now, I'm going to hit the Send button on the upper right corner, and it'll ask me for what resolution. I'm going to hit the actual size, and that will give me the maximum image size to my Flickr photo stream. So the panoramic mode was originally intended for you to be holding the phone upright instead of horizontally like that. And the little line with the arrow in the middle, as you move the phone up or down or whatever, that arrow will move up above or below the line and tell you how to keep it aligned properly. And also, if you're moving it too fast, the arrow kind of gets little dashed lines in it to tell you to slow down. So it kind of helps you align it. But it doesn't really give you those clues when you're using the phone in a horizontal position, just because of the way the motion sensor works. So what I did is I got this little handheld or tabletop tripod, and by folding the legs up, I can put the the legs of the tripod like this and kind of scan it. This will help me keep the phone at a fixed distance above the table, kind of like that. And I found for myself it was easier to keep the phone even and not jerky if I put my typewritten sheet facing lengthwise away from me and pull the phone back toward me. If I did it sideways like this, I tend to be more variable in my speed, and actually I move a little bit forward and backwards, and it makes the margin line kind of wavy on the resulting image. So for me, it worked a little better to keep it this way and to have a little support on the camera to maintain constant height above the table. And use your other hand to keep the phone from going at wonky angles, because it will make the typewritten sheet look a little wavy otherwise. So I did a scan of this same piece on my iPod Touch camera using the panorama mode, and it's amazing the amount of resolution that this little iPod Touch has. It really is incredible. It's because of the way it stitches together that image. It's a much higher resolution image than what you could do by photographing directly with a single still image. I showed you how I upload the image to Flickr by mailing it. If you have a Flickr account, you can get an email address that you can mail your images directly to your photo stream on Flickr. So the second step that I do in the process of creating a blog article when I'm out on the road is I will generally compose the blog article on my mobile device using the Notes app. The reason why is in the Safari browser on the iOS devices, it doesn't play very well with the template in Blogger. When you open up a new document to be written, that just doesn't work very well with Safari browser. So I found it best to completely compose your typewritten blog article, all the text and the HTML code, compose that ahead of time in the Notes app, and then copy it. Once it's completely done and edited, you will copy all that and you'll paste it at one time into the Blogger template and hit save and post it. That's really the only functional way to do a Safari browser on an iOS with Blogger. But I found what does work really well as a browser for working with Google is to get the Chrome browser. And I downloaded the Chrome browser for free off the iOS App Store. So you want to go into your Flickr account using Chrome browser, not using the default Apple browser. So let's show you here on the phone how I'm able to get that link to my image and copy it and then start writing my blog article in my Notes app. Okay, so I've gone to my Flickr account and I've taken one of my recent Typecast articles, but the default view of any of these mobile browsers is going to be the mobile version, and the mobile version is not what you want. So if you go to the lower right corner of the three dots, and if you arrow up until you see Request Desktop Site, click on that. I'm going to have the same image, but I'll have the desktop features. And if you zoom in, this middle symbol, this arrow here, and I'm going to click on that. Then, zoom out a little bit, I'm going to select the Embed feature, and I'm going to select my original resolution, the largest resolution. Now, this entire line of code highlighted in blue, I want to copy it. So you're going to have to click it and hit copy like that. Now I'm going to hit my home button of my iOS device and I'm going to go to my Notes app and I'm going to create a new note and I'm going to paste that code in like that. This is the entire code for the link to that image. And this is going to be the start of my blog article, let's say. But there's a few things I want to do to this. So the bottom part of the image, starting where my cursor is, going all the way to the bottom here, this script code I want to delete. So I'm going to have to just backspace, the easiest way to do this. And backspace out of there so you have left and right bracket, and just type a BR in there, and that's going to be a line break at the end of this image. Okay, so I changed that to a line break. Now up at the top line, the second line, it says href. I'm going to put my cursor there, and I'm going to backspace and delete this code here so that all I have left is left bracket A space href. And that will get rid of all the embedded Flickr script in that image. I don't want that on top of my blog article. The third thing I need to do is, if you look down here on the second to the last line, it gives you a width and height size for your image. I want this image to be full size if somebody clicks on it in my blog article, but I actually have to resize it for my blog article. And my Blogger template is 650 pixels in width. So what I have to do is I have to take the 2593 and the 4788 and resize those to 650. 2593, 4788. I'm going to go to my calculator. So I'm going to take 650 divided by 2593 times 4788. And that's going to give me 1200 pixels high at 650 pixels wide. So let's go back to our Notes app. So we're going to change this to 1200 on the height of the image. And we'll change the width to 650. This will rescale it to my 650 pixel wide template at the same aspect ratio. But if they click on it, they're going to get the full size image. Okay, from here, I'm going to do a return. I'm going to do another line break, BR, and then I'll return, and then I can start typing the rest of my blog article. This was a fun article. Something like that. I'll type the rest of my blog article. Anytime I want to do a line break, at the end I'll have to do my little left-right bracket with a BR. That's the symbol for line break, HTML code for Blogger. Like that. Another thing I like to do with my blog articles is occasionally I will put an embedded YouTube video link into the article itself. And in order to do that, I need to go into YouTube, into the particular video of mine, and I need to grab the HTML code for that embedded link. I have to copy it, paste it into my notepad document before I've uploaded the article, of course, paste it in there, and then I have to resize it for my 650 pixel wide margins on my blog article template. Okay, so I've gone into YouTube. I'm in the Chrome browser, and I found a video of mine that I want to grab the link to. I am in the desktop mode, though, and if you zoom, you'll see this share link in the middle of the screen. I click on that. And then there'll be a code here, a link that says embed, this left and right bracket. Click on that, and there'll be a bunch of code here. And what you want to do is you want to copy all of this code. That, select all, and copy. Okay, copy the entire code. Now we're going to go back to our Notes app, and I want to put this code at the end of my article. So I'm going to first of all make another bracket, a line break, essentially a carriage return. And then I'm going to paste this code in. So there's the code to my YouTube video. I want to resize this, though, for my template here. And I've known through doing this in the past that if I make this 560, if I make it to 650 instead, so let's make it 650, that this 315 has to be changed to 366. And I just do this the same way with the calculator, but I've done this so many times. So this will resize my embedded YouTube link to be the same width as my pictures. And that's it. And then when I'm done completely with this code, when the entire article is written, I want to select all and copy the entire code here that I've written. Then I'm going to go back to my browser and I'm going to go to my Blogger template and paste this code, this entire article, into my Blogger template and publish it. Well, in spite of the fact that we live in an age of lots of different kinds of social media, I really think blogging is a powerful tool for this kind of creative content where you want to document your feelings, your thoughts, and you want it to be searchable and archivable. Blogging is really a wonderful thing to do, and especially if you can blog in a mobile condition out on the road, if you're on vacation, out on the road anywhere. Using, in this case, I've learned to do this with iOS devices. You don't really even need a camera to shoot video. You can do the video inside the iOS device as well. You can, shoot your video, you can shoot your stills, you can take your typewritten piece that you've typed up with your typewriter out on the road, scan it as I've shown you here, edit the image in here, upload it to a photo hosting website like Flickr, grab the link, write the entire blog article on the phone, including the markup language, the HTML language to mark up and format the article, upload the whole thing to your Blogger template, publish it all through here. And it makes a really nifty way to be in contact with your social group of people who read your blog and to be a writer, be a blogger online, and be productive while you're out on the road, if on vacation or wherever you're at. So I hope this gives you some encouragement on how to use mobile devices, especially the iOS platform, as a blogging tool, and especially being able to take high-resolution scans of your typewritten pieces, even on something as humble as a little iPod Touch. It works really well in that panoramic mode. Hope you guys found some value in this. Leave some comments down below if you have any questions. Stay creative, and until next time, have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye for now.